Okay, while we're waiting for the OssoBuco in the oven, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 375 degrees, we're going to get to work on our saffron risotto with Chef Massimo in the kitchen. What's next?
First thing we do is we have the risotto is partially ready. It's called risotto pilaf, which is basically not boiled, it's cooked in the oven. We use some oil. I put an onion in it to keep the rice a sweet flavor to it a little bit. And then we splash it with white wine. We call it with a little bit of water, and we let them cook them in the oven so it doesn't boil.
Why is it that on all these cooking shows, everybody has so much trouble with risotto? I mean, I watch Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. Everybody's messing up the risotto.
I don't know. It's the risotto. It's not easy to actually put it together. You have to know the timing, the cooking of the risotto. You don't want to make it too hard because then too al dente is not good either. So you want to cook it just enough, and then you finish it whatever you want to do with it. In our case, we're going to do a saffron risotto. So what I do is some olive oil, put them in the pan. Then here we have some shallots. Shallots cook just a minute. Then we add our risotto to it. Then I use a little bit of white wine. Your seasoning, salt, pepper. Potatoes. Then what I'll do to let it finish cook, I use a little bit of broth.
What kind of broth?
This is like a veal broth. Okay, and let it finish cook that way. Then we have the saffron, which is a Spanish spice. It's very flavorful, very strong. Add it to that, so it kind of gives a little bit of a yellow color. Then we let it cook a little bit. It reduces until the rice is cooked like the way it was supposed to be. Then we add butter at the end and Parmesan cheese. And that's pretty much everything. I like to use a spoon.
Now in the restaurant, the timing of making sure your OssoBuco and your saffron risotto is ready at just the right time for the table, along with everything else that a table's ordered. I mean, that's where the real dance in the kitchen exists.
That's
to
where
get the timing right.
If you have the communication with your cooks in the kitchen, because everybody's got their own station. One does the pasta, the risotto, the other one does the grill and the tickets, the other one does the saute and some warm hot appetizer on the other side. Whoever, like I said, whoever is orchestrating here the tickets needs to be able to tell everybody to call the shots, make sure that everything goes out at the same time.
So when they're saying 3 minutes, chef, I got 2 minutes on the OssoBuco,
exactly
1 minute on the saffron risotto, everybody's got to be listening and communicating.
That's exactly right. It doesn't matter if it's a table of 2 people or a table of 15 people. Everything has to go out at the same time. It needs to be looking good, taste good, and consistent. Consistency is very important.
It's interesting that bright red saffron turns yellow.
Yeah. Saffron is a very strong spice, but it's not really strong. It's not like spicy. It's kind of like sweet actually.
What else do you usually serve with the OssoBuco? What are the other kind of side starches?
Usually that's the dish. That's the start pretty much on the plate, and it's a pretty big dish. So really, you don't want to serve anything to it. Some I've seen other restaurants serving the OssoBuco the same way we do, but they also added like the vegetables that we used before to the meat. They use those as a they put them just on top of the meat as well, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Got them a little bit smaller in cubes, you know. But The recipe is pretty much the same, should be pretty much the same everywhere. You know, some people might use a little bit different techniques, but the ingredients, they are the same pretty much. At this point, what I'll do, Parmesan cheese.
And this is just grated Parmesan cheese.
Grated Parmesan cheese, yes. We usually buy the Parmigiano Reggiano, the big wheels, and we grate it ourselves. So then I'm moving away from the stove. Then, without the flame, I'll add some butter. And the risotto is done.
All right, we're going to get the risotto ready, get the OssoBuco out of the oven, and then we're going to do a little plating and let you see that part of it in just a moment. All right, one of the keys to a great restaurant is making sure the plating presents it in a way that makes the dish look even more spectacular than it tastes. And then the tasting part, of course, comes next, which is going to be fantastic here at Valentino's. Let's get to the plating. First of all, our OssoBuco is done. You see the beautiful bright red flavors from the tomato paste, from all the other vegetables kind of searing down into the OssoBuco. We've got our risotto perfectly done. And now, Massimo, how do we plate this in a way that the diner's going to want it even before they taste it?
Oh, okay, usually, once I got the product finished, ready to go, we'll, after we taste everything, make sure that all the seasoning are in order and everything good, then we plate it. Usually what I'll do, I'll put the risotto on the bottom. Okay, then the OssoBuco. Garnish and a little fork if somebody wants to get the bone marrow out of it. And
now there's a reason we call this the taste of Tennessee, because we're not just looking at it, we're going to taste this.
Exactly.
So how's the best way to dive into this? We use the little fork?
Little fork is for the bone marrow that you get. Some people like to eat that. Otherwise, we just use the fork over there, dive in, and see how the meat is falling off the bone?
Yeah, it just falls right off. Look at this here. It's just literally falling right off. It's falling off my fork. Awesome. You can taste the tomato paste. You can taste all those vegetables. And literally it just falls right off the bone. Yep. Literally falls off your fork.
That's exactly the way
the risotto. Al dente. You can taste a little bit of Parmesan cheese in the mix as well, and then kind of putting it in there in the little bit of mix it all together.
Together, exactly.
It still falls off the fork. Bellissimo.
Buonissimo.
Come dive in. The rest of our crew is going to dive in, finish this off. Massimo, Valentino's. Don't trust what I cook. Get to Valentino's, order yourself the OssoBuco saffron risotto. Tell them Steve Gill sent you, and we'll have more of the Taste of Tennessee Steve Gill Show video coming up with some of your other favorite restaurants down the road. Massimo, thank you. This is spectacular.